Team Fast, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today. A good friend of mine and an agent and team leader that I truly respect. So thank you so much for sitting down and having this conversation.
Thanks for inviting me today.
Yeah. So talking about the origin. So you've been a team leader for a while, production agent for a long time, but when did you decide to form a team? And was there like a problem you were trying to solve that like got you to say, I'm going to form a team versus what I'd been doing before?
Yeah, I think it was my third year in real estate. My first 2 years, I closed about 50 deals combined. So I was like, shoot, a lot of momentum. And then my third year, I started hiring a VA to offset a lot of things that I do. During that, then I need a marketing assistant, and then I need another assistant. I just needed more leverage because I was busy. I was showing properties every inspection. I was cutting and doing a lot of video marketing on YouTube. I was cutting my own video, doing my own flyers and everything. So I was like, it was getting overwhelming. But because I was a really good agent, I was able to generate a lot of business coming in. And then I think a lot of team leaders, like how I go down this journey of when you have too much business and you have overflow, then you're seeing money go out the door. So then you need to see how you can leverage and keep more of that in. And eventually, as a new agent, now there's like way more playbooks and stuff, so people probably are not going down the same path. But then I turned my assistants into buyer's agents one by one. So over time, I built that team out to a team of like 5 within my fourth year business. So third year, I had a VA, which I consider my first part of my team, and then I brought on local physical people.
And so the team, really came to be because you were getting too busy to do it all.
Yeah.
And it was then at some point you decided like you were going to go and build the team that you have now.
Yeah.
What's the core philosophy or value system that you've built with your team?
Core philosophy, I mean, our company slogan currently, this is my third iteration of the team. This team has been around for 6 years now, but it's be you but fast. So having people really be authentic, but they actually have to grind and be gritty and do the work. You can't be fast and just not show up and not do anything. Then literally it's like the opposite.
And I think that's where you take a different approach than I see other team leaders, is that you're really in there, doing it. Like even with the AI, we were talking about this before we, jumped on the record session, but like being able to understand and do stuff that you're asking others to be able to do puts you in a different realm of leadership than others.
They tell you this, you lead by example, right? It's hard for me to, because I do like a dozen deals a year now. Like 3 years ago, it was like 60 deals. It's been hard to crack over a dozen to 15-ish because I give all my deals to my team. You have to find ways to lead by example, and it's not going to be me selling a lot of homes. Technically, my team does, but like I cannot physically because I have other priority that has a higher ROI in my time. So it's me being out there, being structured, maximizing my time. By 600 hours last year, I'm playing with AI stuff all weekend. I probably spent over 20 hours inside the Higgs Field and Canva and Photoshop and Premiere and Lightroom. I'm teaching myself all that stuff too, like constantly learning and developing my own personal brand. So even though, Fast Real Estate, number 2 team at ESP for 4 years now, and number 1 like 5 years ago, my team has its brand, but my brand isn't. I'm the team leader of Team Fast. Like don't get that too often. I have my own individual brand, and that's the thing we want agents to do too, to be able to build their own personal businesses and their own brand inside of our company.
So you mentioned that a VA was your first hire.
Yeah.
Would you do that differently again?
No, 100% would do the same.
And what did that VA?
What she helped for me was some of my marketing stuff, organizing my CRM. Writing my offers was a really big deal because, like, on the most weeks I was just writing 10 to 15 offers. Because it's also a way different environment back then. It was during the REO and short sale era. It was less relationship based. It's like meeting investors. Hey, just write this offer, write 50 grand under, write 100 grand over. So you're like more like order taker at that time. So being able to have her help me with that was really important. And then, because I hired like 4 or 5 people that year, so I forgot who did what. But then she also then supported my local marketing team that was getting their licenses and did all the work for us. So all the grunt work. But now, like I work with a lot of my. I don't have a dedicated VAs. I have like a dozen VAs for my company, but I have like depending on the task, I'll pick which VA to help me on something, whether it's like prepping me for a listing presentation or doing this video for me or taking or cleaning up my database or crunching numbers, all like four different people because they that's what they do. All my partners I work with, VAs, they share a lot of them share VAs too. So like $5-6 an hour for people, it's just insane not to have a VA. You're paying like $1 an hour or something. Is to write their offers, book their calendars, schedules for them, pull the disclosures, summarize some of that stuff for them. Just a lot of like back end grunt work, get their marketing flyers set up for the weekend. So like that's super low level work, but that really bogs up your time.
Yeah. All right. So technology and infrastructure. What technology powers the backbone of your team today?
Monday is how we track all of our sales, our projects, our roster, anything data related is inside of Monday.
What made you choose Monday?
What were we using before? I think we were using a spreadsheet before Monday. That's why we chose Monday. But we've had Monday for like 4 years now. Also, previously, the number one team leader in California was Sanit Argawal. He was using Monday, and I had him show me a demo on it before. And then it was a project we kicked out later. It was like, hey, we really need to look at this. And then Kyle Whistle was also using it, number one team leader at HP this last year. So we knew the top teams were using it. We want to be a top team. We need to take a look at it.
And so you built it out. You built it out in a way that there wasn't necessarily a subsequent like product out there that could do what you needed it to do.
No, the closest things that had what it did was like Sisu, I think, because it tracks your production and sales, but then even Sisu couldn't like partition certain deals. Like, well, the 3 people are on this deal, well, then the commission GCI tracking for top volume was a third year. They couldn't do all the stuff. And then between it, we have like widgets that are interacting between different dashboards. Like the ones I use a lot is like looking at the roster, organized. It's a fancy spreadsheet, their languages, their background, what company they're from, their previous job, and then each agent to tracking their splits. Then on our personal private company dashboard, there's like a couple different workspaces. We have one with all the agent names and their splits and all the sales for like all the recent years. They can go in, they can click their own links to see it, to track all their activity. I haven't seen any other company provide that at ease. You correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, like every single thing is connected. I can see which offices are producing at what amount, seasonality in the marketplace, how many homes we sold in certain zip codes, and anything data, anything sales related, it's in there.
And then you also use it to track, requests within the VAs too, right?
Oh yeah, our VA marketing requests. I forgot that's a really big part of our offering. We have, I think, like 3 full-time virtual assistants that handle like media, and then everything's done through a Typeform. Whether you want to have a reel cut for your open house signs, and just anything you can pick up. And we do a lot of special, unique projects too that are like one-offs. They want to build something for a special event. And then we have our video marketing team. We have fully built studios similar to yours inside 2 of our offices. We cut I think we've cut over 3,000 reels for sure already. We're on the way to 4,000 reels. Where they have a system to walk in the room. There's a push button stream deck thing. The lights are all set up. Once you record, it goes straight to a Dropbox QR code. You go extract your videos. You fill in our Typeform. You get a Google Drive individual link that gets sent to your email. You take your Dropbox video, you put it in there, and editors start chopping. And then that's connected to Monday backend. But we also synced it with Podium, which is a texting service, where we use to promote our events. We also send updates through Monday, synced with Podium, so the agents can have know what's going on. But that's like media, Dropbox, Google Drive, Typeform, Monday, Podium. All just, I wouldn't say seamless because you still have to do some manual labor, like connecting the things, but it works really easy.
So I think the answer to this one is probably Monday, but so you don't get to pick Monday, you got to pick something else. what tools are mission critical for scaling production?
Yeah, I mean CRMs, you can track the activities of the agents, and I know that for a fact that like most people are very loose on holding people accountable, but the most productive teams cranking out deals are very like heavy on that. Lot sometimes they even have like a dedicated CRM manager or they're sales managers, but then sometimes there's even like another level, it's a CRM manager that like just tracks the activities. And then some people that may be smaller and don't have that dedicated person, they're using other tools to do that at scale.
So you think CRM biggest piece for the ability
Yeah,
to scale?
you can't develop if you're not hard on your CRM, then the age like so gives some background too. Only less than 20% of our deals from that were done last year. I think we did like 870 deals last year. Only like less than 20% were online leads or like online referral websites. So we're big on being organic business, but it's within that 20% that we hold them to through mostly Zillow that we can get them into certain habits, of tracking everything. Because if you ran a brokerage, probably broker, I won't say team, ran a brokerage, and you don't have any, you can't really hold the agents accountable. They don't work for you. They're independent contractors. You can't tell them what to do. So it's only a very limited amount of company generated business that you have a say and some oversight. So if you can get them tracking things, understanding like how to be more efficient with their time, how to book certain things, how to log conversations for their safety too. Hey, these shouldn't be a phone call. This should be a text. Like all that. Like you get those good habits. Also on the Monday thing, we used Sisu many years ago, but then we just ended up using our own Typeform. So probably 30, 40 of our agents, like we track their activities every week, goes in and we reward them with lunches and dinners. But yeah, you get without having accountability, you can't get agents into the rhythm of things. You can tell them, I can send you 20 Tom Ferry videos on scripts and tracking, but unless you actually have to do it and build that habit, it's not going to happen. So that's why CRM is really strong, because you can actually see what agents are doing. And also coach them on when they don't perform well or conversation stuff.
Where do you think systems break in high volume?
Where do systems break? When things get heavier and there's more flow, you usually lose like accuracy. People are monitoring things less. They're busy. And I'm like, the market gets good and agents are busy. Well, the life is easier, so they just don't do all the like small activities that got them there, the little tracking and all the little nuances, the cleaning up this and that, and then all of a sudden they don't have business. They go back to the basics. So systems break when people usually honestly just get overwhelmed and stop using them because they work so well. Then they stop using them, and then they go back to like restarting it. So, there's so many agents on my team. It's like it's when they say I'm in payments, it's like, oh, I'm ready to go hard again or give it my all. Like where were you in the last half year? Like when did you give up? Like I'm ready to start up. Like I don't know. It's like a new year, new me every single month.
Well, and that's almost like, you're referencing like the system is the person that's breaking, not necessarily the technology or the products that you're powering it with. Like that's not even, I think, what comes to mind first for you. It's the
we don't use that many system. We have 6 or 7 we go to. We haven't. I mean, the systems we use, if you're like referring to specific tech tools, all do only a handful of things. Maybe systems break when, example, we were trying to do a lot of different things on a system that can support all different things, and we're trying to tie in different APIs together, and then it just doesn't work. Like an example, way back was, the example I gave you, like Sisu couldn't cut our production in thirds and different ways to track it, so like you can't use that then. Or way back, this was many years ago, Chime, now Lofty, it was good enough to get an API to integrate, I think, with Real Scout or Ylopo and Sisu. But then Chime, instead of like having little ticker or boxes of updates, it would pop every single update in. Like I don't need 100 updates of. I don't need a history log of every single home that this person had looked at in between my updates of their text. So like it just got really messy. So early on, systems break because they don't. Yeah, that you break them because they are not able to do things you want to do. But now most of the systems are out there all work fine. Like it's most of these were easy fixes.
What type of data or reporting do you wish you had more visibility into?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm not the one that looks at all the data for the agents, so I feel like all the data that we need is out there.
But you're getting it from Monday, or do you go to other places?
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
like,
I'll take it back a step. So we right now. Okay, I got some. For Zillow, this specific for Zillow, we could see, leads in conversation, appointments met, writing offers, contracts accepted. Like that's the data. But you can't get. We don't have that in the real world. Like or with the other 80% of our deals, we don't know our agents are out there. Like data, like I would like to know what our agents are saying and doing out there. But then that's not likely that.
And you're using Follow Up Boss for the CRM for the team production and the Zillow production, right?
Yeah. Like I would love for agents to use like a recording device for their own personal information, like to see how to get feedback from their AI. Don't share the information with anyone on how they perform that listing appointment or the buyer appointment. Like that would be really great data to have.
I think there's some stuff out there. I'll connect you with them afterwards.
There is. I know a couple of those. But then at our scale, I think it'd be good to have. Like that's the question. But would I want to review it? No. Like I don't want to be in charge. I don't think I need someone to listen to every single appointment.
But would it help Elias?
It would, yeah, 100%. It would help. But he does his coaching call. So our director of sales, Elias, he does his coaching calls 3 times a week. But the agents do bring in scenarios of what worked for the week, what didn't. And they I forgot that what order. Like Monday might be motivation. Wednesday might be like a little bit of role play, script practice. Friday is I forgot recap for the week or how to talk about the market. So they are doing that in bits and pieces. But again, when we talked about earlier, like a CRM manager, then you would need someone to listen to every call. We actually have that. We have 4 people in so I think we did like 170 Zillow deals or something last year. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 150. But we have a conversion coach. His job is to do pipeline checks. So the agents that don't do well on the metrics provided by Zillow, then he'll schedule like a 5-10 minute call with them when necessary, maybe every other week to do those quick checks. But see, the thing is, we're not listening to every single call. We're just seeing your calls probably suck or something sucks in the process. That's why your scores isn't good. So then you have a call. So you ask me would the data work? Also, if someone had 20 hours of training a week, it would help, but that's not realistic. That's not gonna happen.
What is one role that changed everything once you hired? And I wouldn't use the VAs. What's one position that you added to the team? Like you have a data scientist. You have Elias. You mentioned you have the
our first big hire was a shared assistant, a local physical one, and then over time she became my main assistant, but she did everything. She managed a lot of my escrows for me. As I was growing the team, she was kind of like my in-house broker person or mentor to all. In my first year of building the team fast, I brought on 10 team members. So she mentored all the agents. She wrote my offers. She prepped my listing presentations, various other things. But she became like a full high-end admin, and I think that's probably my best hire as a solo agent becoming a team leader. I partnered with different agents in the office like that. I did 88 deals my last year at Klein, my first year building team fast, but having someone to manage all that. So but that's not a normal role, because that's, like I said, she's almost like my in-house broker, almost like a partner agent, but not, and a mentor and my assistant and my marketing. So it was a lot of stuff.
But it gave you the capacity to do more.
Yeah, 100%. And though at the scale we're at right now, brought on Elias, my sales director, when we were around 20 agents, and then he was able to, what sales manager does. Well, the director of sales is his thing. He doesn't handle contracts and deal questions. He's just productivity and coaching. But having someone to handle the recruiting calls, to be the voice of the team, to push production, the rah-rah, the cheerleader, you definitely need someone like that. And I've seen most big teams have a sales director, and they all try to have the same personality, because you just have to be very motivated all the time. It's sometimes very awkward when I see some people be managers, but every team has its own culture.
Yeah. So when you look at the team and, you know, building up that next generation of leaders within the team, how do you evaluate the right people that you could elevate in the team?
That's an easy. People who show up and start helping the team and taking responsibility and pushing things forward without asking for anything first. So like leaders who lead by example, and then they kind of then we have had many junior, I would call them junior leadership people in the past with small salaries or some type of incentive. Most have phased out of their roles because they'd rather do production. But yeah, people who show up and help without asking for anything early on. Way different than people like I've been here so long, I did this many deals, you need to make me a leader, give me some a role. Deals like that, those are completely you're those are like the people that completely turn us off. Like all because if you really deserve the role and you're showing up, we would probably have reached out to your talent.
So what do you think is the most, like the single most common mistake that teams make when hiring people? And be it whether it's an administrative person or an agent joining the team, what do you think the most common mistake is?
Well, those are two completely different roles because for the admin, just picking someone who has had real estate experience and just like, hey, come join me because you're gonna do anything else. Most successful realtors are high I personality, which is like they're extroverted, they like talking. That's the whole goal, right? Talking and meeting people. So you want to put them in an admin role where they sit in an office or sit at home and not talk to anyone that day. That makes no sense. And then just
I
hiring
used
your
to
friends.
I used to ask agents, like when I was interviewing, I'm like, what is it about real estate do you love? Like, or even asking that to an admin, because if an admin that's coming in is like, oh, I love to go see the houses and go on broker's caravan, like you're, you know, very much like you're not going to want to be in the office behind the computer. Like, but I hate open houses and I love the deal and I love the contract and like that. You're a great admin
I'll
potentially.
say I'll say like mistake like just hiring people just because you know them or a friend recommended them. I don't necessarily 100% disagree with that because you can find some talent like emerging that you didn't know they were good. But what you should do when you do hire is having like a 3, 6, 12 month policy in place for review to see if this is a good fit. So you need to set expectations early. And then while that admin that you hire is doing the work for you and learning the stuff, they should be building out your SOP, your standard operating procedures.
Yeah.
They should be recording the screen when they work. You don't need fast. You can use Zoom to record the screen. Now, oh yeah, that's why I did very early on all my BAs. That's why I don't talk to my BAs too much because I have someone that all my leadership team has their own assistants, and then some of those assistants even have their own BA. So it's just all leverage. But you bring on someone with a 3, 6, 9 month commitment, as long as they're building out your manual while you do it, then if it doesn't work out, you get someone else to come in and plug right in. This is how we do the things, literally line by line. This is how you go on the like I had made a whole guide. This is 15 years ago on how to use the MLS. You click this button here, and you click this. This is how you pick the map. But you got to dumb everything down. And if you do that, then you can hire all you want. I probably have like 20, I don't know, 15. For a moment, like I think almost every other year, I had people reach out to want to be, what do you call them? Not mentee. Like when you work for interns. Yeah, I had people intern for me. I did pay them. Like they're in high school interns. They help me with my marketing, creating comics, all stuff that I do. You can do now with AI and marketing. But yeah, I had people manually doing all that stuff for me back then. And then they come, we give them the playbook, and then hey, copy this. This is what you do.
All right. So tech adoption implementation. So I know you're techie, you play around with AI, everything, and you'll look at just about any piece of technology. Now, I'm not saying that so people can reach out and say, hey, Kenny, take a look at this. Like, we'll preface that. But like, what criteria do you use to determine whether a tool becomes something that you implement?
Something I can what?
What's the criteria that you use to determine whether it's a tool that you're going to take on and implement? Whether personally or even
the main thing's gonna be demo. We probably picked up 3 or 4 products last year and canceled like every year and cancel half of them after 6 months. Like the main thing is whether it's going to be a distraction to our team or bring value. But just because it brings value doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good, because if it's distract them from work, it actually could hurt their productivity. And between all the tools that we use, like especially new agents, half our team is new. We recruit over 100 agents a year and we lose 100. So like constantly, like we already have like this. This is say 8 things on the tool set. Like then we're trying to also look at this 9th one we're rolling out, 10th one. It's just too much. We've learned over time to not do that. And when we do bring a tool in, it matters if they'll let us. The cost matters a lot, and it matters if it's the type of contract there is, and whether we can use it for only a certain number of agents to for our team. And then if we can get adoption on it, then great. If we can't get adoption on it, then we move on. So we've actually had to let go of really good products, so we could only get like 20 people on it. Well, good for those 20 people, and they only charge for 20 people, but we don't want even that to deal with. We have a tool only for this group of people, and then so we want things that can be rolled out. There's like also like a tool last year. I'm not going to name it specifically, but I think like we were on this product for like 6 months. It was to like track agents' calls or something, but then the agents themselves didn't have access to their own data. And the only way to use that product at that time was if our sales director brought it up on the screen and had these pipeline checks with the agents. Again, the distraction part. We're creating more work, and then there's also no way to only have a selected certain people in our CRM get when they use it, we pay for it. So that product affected our entire database. But the agents, like our top producers, did not want to check in with their sales director. They do their own thing, and they make the most calls. I can't use your product. A couple other products I could think of that interview recently aren't like that. So that just doesn't work for us. Like I don't, and then again, it becomes a distraction. It doesn't add that much more value, and it actually gives us more work. So we took the same amount of time and use it for more training or workshops or stuff. We could probably get better ROI on our time and less cost and more. Yeah.
It's all great info there. So with that, like if you're bringing in new agents, fairly regularly, like how do you ensure that the agents are actually using the tech that you provide?
So we wrote that new. Okay, let's take it back. We really amped up our 30-day onboarding. We started using Agently. It's been a really great product. So like they had to before, even when we were 100 agents, it was a shit show. It was like, here's 30 tasks you need to do, and then we had a Google spreadsheet where everyone had public access to it. So you're just it was but we also recruit we recruit like over 100 agents a year, but it was completely messy. But then we started using Sisu's onboarding recruiting thing, so that worked. But now we were using Agently. So as a new agent, you have to knock out these tasks, and then the door opens, and you can knock out these next tasks. So as an example, you can't get access to our online leads unless you have mastered-ish a buyer's presentation. In order to master buyer's presentation, you need to send your videos. We use SparkHire. Send your videos to this like fake interview. It's actually recruiting corporate recruiting tool where you send the answers. You send the videos there, we look at it, then you do a live training, and then you get access to CRM, then you get the lead. So like everything has a path to it, and then that was how we limited what people discover and learn and access to inside the company, so that they don't get overwhelmed. So new agents don't necessarily get all the tools we have until like they open doors, and new agents too. If you don't have a big team, you probably don't know like. They'll come on. Some agents you don't even see or hear from months at a time. They'll sign on, nothing happens. It's just the reality of that part of the business. But more recently, we're still I won't call him early stage, but met this guy at this tool we're using is called StackWrap. This guy built out this thing where it's a dashboard and then it has like APIs. So now we want the new agents. That's where they live. You go in, we set up your kind of, I guess Compass kind of has that, like your proprietary dashboard. You go in, you have your buttons, all like your toolbox, your training library, your thing, or if you're with EXP or some of these other brokerages, OKTA, OKA, like has all that stuff for you. But then we have like calendar integration in there. We have a team calendar events. We have Eurofollow, boss activities, and CRM. It might be like an iframe thing in there. You have your Real Scout in there. So when our new agents come in, they go in the dashboard, they see the top 6 things we want them to see. I don't go in there. Our experienced agents don't go in there, but that's a new thing. So like also like when you're building these things out, it's easier with a larger team. We're constantly trying to create the future of the company. Like so we already know that the senior agents are not going to adopt this tool. They have their habits. They have a way of doing it. They have their VAs. But then the new agents, if they go in and that's all they know, it becomes that. And then it if it says right there on their coaching call, come to coaching meeting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're going to do that. So every company as it evolves, you're constantly trying to create a new subculture of the new habits and activities and new tools, and then you want to have that eventually be a bigger part of the culture, and then things come to evolve. Because large teams, your most experienced agents are mostly like tapped out. They like it here, which is most brokerages. Like teams are different, but most big brokerages, like most agents are pretty independent. They don't need anything from you. They just like being there. They like the brand. They have their way of doing business, but it's really hard to train new agents.
What do you think is missing from the tech landscape that could help teams specifically?
I think many people have tried like a good recruiting tool, but recruiting is very organic. And if there was a tool for recruiting that was easy, everyone would be on it, and it would actually then it just wouldn't work. But that's been a challenge. Or you said tech or tool?
I mean, tech or tool. Like, I guess is the synonymous in this question.
Maybe like a tech or tool. You have them now. I'm not going to dive deep into AI stuff. Yeah, like helping people do like really clean rebrands, getting all their collateral and all that stuff right, so they're not just hacking things together. And then making sure their brand voice and style is has conformity across all the channels.
I like that.
Side does a really good job of that. Well, they help with the logos and color design. And it's up to them to just do it. But yeah, having good marketing and branding help for this. So this is specific for team leaders.
Well, and I think, you mentioned the recruiting piece. There are a few different pieces out there for recruiting for, brokerages and teams to, look at different people. But as you start to get absorption in the marketplaces, then everybody's playing with the same tool.
Yeah, everyone's, I've had Broker Kit and Broker Metrics and sees the market, and like we're currently using Corded right now. Like I've tried almost every single thing. A lot of it's just data. So even though the Corded now has a partnership with the thing with Close, it's still the data. You still got to pick up the phone, still have to call people. So it doesn't do. You still got to do the job.
Yeah, it does. I think Corded's a great product, and to be able, even the ability to look at your agent's numbers and kind of help them, understand where the production slumps have been and why they were there and where they're at, especially in comparison to like the team or in comparison to like what's going on in the city. There is a lot to learn there, but when you start looking at
but when
you start looking at real estate, like, it is a human interaction business. Like it is hard to really like, even have the call systems, like, call and say, hey, this is, such and such, work with Kenny at Team Fast. Kenny's got my number. If he wanted me to come and work for him, he'd call me.
Yep. We had one of the tools where like we call people for you. We booked over 100 appointments a year and we converted like 2. I was like, oh, that's another example. Like we forgot what that tool is. We actually gave that another try last year. But some calling service that books appointments for you. We had over 100 appointments, 130, 140. Because I was on 50. I handled 50 of those appointments myself on phone calls. People would ghost you or not show up or just, But yeah, so Corday is a good example. You said the human interaction, like that's where it matters. You can give me the data all you want, but some of the strength in Corday is like you can see all their sales history, on the chart, but you can also see which companies they've been at and which areas they work at. So if you work in Oakland and you've been at 5 companies, that means you're still moving around, and maybe you haven't landed at the right place. But we have Oakland is biggest part, like quarter of my business. We're really prominent here. Like maybe we should have a chat because you're in Oakland and you haven't found the right place. So like being able to tailor those very hard to get conversations and making them more human, more interactive, with backed by data, to give you a better ROI in your time versus like, oh, how's your business? This is probably 90% of normal conversations. How's your business last year? You're trying to recruit someone intentionally, but you don't know how they did last year. That shows that. Well, again, most people don't have this data. This is my train of thought. So when I meet with an agent or look up an agent, Instagram first. Instagram, Zillow, Realtor, Homes.com, their history, their website. Like, I want to know like what's going on. Where I see some opportunities are that the previous team leader or broker didn't want to step in and upset them about.
That's great feedback there. I completely agree. If you could build a tool specifically for team leaders, what would you solve?
If I build a tool for team leaders,
what would you solve?
Retention. I'm sure there is out there because I literally just talked about Quartz. Like Quartz, shows you which members are likely to move. I don't know. There's got to be more of that just because they're buying. I think because we're in California and Bay Area, and the average agent doing 40 deals a year is like making, I don't know, 5 deals a year is probably making close to six figures, and it's a decent income, not for Bay Area, just decent income, maybe in a double household. But so it's hard to see like when they're not doing well or doing well because it's so sporadic. Are you going to do 3 deals one quarter and one in the last quarter, and that's your year, or like because it's near impossible to have one deal every single quarter. You just don't have the control. So like knowing where people might fall off is that, but that we have kind of the data, but then it requires us to like look and review it.
What systems or tools do agents struggle with the most?
I don't know. Like most tools are pretty or one dimensional. They do the one thing well. So we try to CRM to master it to be able to remember to log all your activities in there using the the task appointment option in there, so things with your calendar, tracking your own activities. I don't think people actually dive that deep into like their own data because other tools we use like Canva, like everyone level of Canva is different, so like I don't think that should be brought up. Or like you use a great tool like Real Scout instead of listening alerts, you don't do too much on it. So most of these tools are like set and forget it. So CRM is one of the very few tools you have to go back and forth and look in and use every day.
Well, and even if you get the CRM set up correctly, I mean, like you mentioned Real Scout, like your Real Scout integration is to the CRM. And so much of it can be done right through there.
Yeah.
What's the most important KPI to check daily?
I don't think people check KPIs daily. Would I'm just leave it simple. Your activities you should reflect. Your calendar is a KPI. It should show what type of not exactly number of activities you have, but it should show what activity you had. Did you have any Did you have any kind of interactions this week? Because I think for KPI, like we're trying to say, oh, people are actually busy, and most people are not. Like did you make 10 phone calls yesterday? We're happy if agents even made 3 phone calls yesterday. So did you have any type of activity at all? Did you go to the office? Did you attend a workshop? Did you hop on a coaching call? Did you watch some training? Like I would just go the KPI for that is 1. Did you do one of those yesterday? Did you do one of those this week?
And you guys use Agently to kind of track some of that stuff for the team, right?
Yeah, we use Agently. No, Agently can track it, but we don't use Agently for that. We build our own Typeform thing. It's called Home Habits of Me, where we track. You can track all things you want, but like the main things I think we awarded track is like hours in your business, on and in your business, conversations had, appointments met, open houses, like those. And then I think we change it over time. And then whoever has the 5 top people that won each category each month, every 2 months, we take them out to a nice lunch. You go on the Instagram page at the Fast Agents, you see we call it the Hustlers Lunch, and then we reward them. And then separately, we track this is the top 3 units and top 3 volume of the month. And every quarter, we take them out to a really fancy dinner at some spot where they experience. And what we've seen is the people who do well on hustle lunches because they're tracking activities, they have the momentum. They were eventually end up at the top producer dinner. And people are really, they don't want to say they're upset, but they look forward to the dinner because it's
they're
also
competitive.
Like,
they want to go to dinner with Kenny and Elias.
Yeah, it's a nice dinner. So again, those are some of the few ways we have to gamify and incentivize people, agents, to do the activities. Because if they get a taste of that, then it's hardcore. Oh, I'm thinking hard. Elias just launched his intensity program this morning at 6 a.m. It's a 10-week course where it's like 15 different activities. It's a lot. It's like door knocking, video messaging to your database, is number of reels, number of stories, is like conversations, open house, burger stores, all that. It's all tracked. I think he had like 57 signups, which is pretty cool. And I think 40 is from our team. But Monday, 6 a.m., you have an accountability partner. If you don't show up to the call, you get kicked out of the program. If you don't hit the thing, you get one warning, I guess, and then you get kicked out of the program. And then you have a accountability partner. So it's the people we've seen. We have one girl on our team that's completed like 5 times. She's our top agent in that office. But yeah, that's the only way we can get people to do things. Otherwise, agents the thing about why real estate sucks for agents because like you're your own real estate.
Well, it kind of goes back to even like with what you were saying, like with this piece of tech that you would create is that, you can actually forecast. And this is like what, Elias's training program does is like, if you're not doing the activities, you're going to have bad numbers in 3 months. And then it takes 3 months to get everything ramped back up. I lost the audio. Did you hit mute? Can you hear me? It's not me. I just tried a different speaker.
Yes.
There, I got you.
Yeah, I moved a browser window around and then I tried to connect to my cell phone as a mic. Weird. You just combine the videos later.
Let's see. We're still recording. Okay, so I was saying that the one tool that you would create is something to like help agents kind of forecast what they're doing and where their business is going to be, which is, very much with like the accountability that you hold with the coaching and the, Elias's intensity program, the activities that you're putting in every day do add up to the activities that, sell the houses at the end. And I think that's where I think a lot of agents do forget that it's like, once the pipeline gets going, like when you stop entering the transactions or entering the information into the CRM is when you stop getting busy. And there's this is why agents in the industry has this ebb and flow, because it's like, I got too busy to do it. And now I'm not busy at all.
Yeah, it's like the marketing, the prospecting, open houses got you the deals. Now you have like a couple escrows at a time. You're busy. It's like, oh, I'm busy now. I'm just gonna chill this weekend, and enjoy the fruits of my labor. And then you stop posting online because like all that. And then all of a sudden, like, wait, where's my business? Okay, let me go do that again. So it's just constantly this roller coaster ride of real estate. So I think that's why good coaches, sales managers, accountability, all this stuff is required. So you have like what you need to do. I track everything I do. I track like for me, I track almost everything I do. And then many, like over a dozen, maybe close to like 20 of my agents have my calendar. And that doesn't include my staff. They all have access to my calendar, my work calendar. So they see me. Last week I was up to like 3 or 4 in the morning. So on New Year's this year, New Year's Eve, I had my first dry New Year's Eve ever. And then I was actually up till like 4:40 in the morning because my brain was just wired, no caffeine. I was just excited. So I was just working on like AI posts all day. So like my team would see I was up to 3 or 4 in the morning working last week, but I'll sleep till like 9 or 10. But like they could see that I'm doing things. Also biked 300 miles last week, my biggest week.
Wow, congrats. All right, so what do you think is the most understood or misunderstood piece about working on a team as an agent?
Oh, the biggest one is probably branding. So we still have negative feedback about that. Thinking if you join, every team's different. So I'm just speaking for myself. When you join a team, you're under the Kenny Truong team. Like you don't have your own, you can't build your own brand or identity. Most agents join a team because they need help because they suck at marketing. Yeah, maybe you should use the brand for a team. But like most teams now, I think in today's market, especially with social media, will allow you to do your own thing.
All right. So what's the biggest prediction that you can make about the future of team structures?
They're only going to get bigger. Yeah, they're filling the gap between the brokerage and what teams used to be. And most teams run like a mini brokerage, and then more and more companies like eXp Realty and these online virtual low-cost models are getting a lot of momentum because once a lot of people from the traditional side, your franchise side, your corporate, your agencies, your compasses, your Bear Homes and Garden, all that, they're slowly they're coming over to try this virtual model at low cost, and they can able to sustain their business at lower cost, they have higher ROI. Then if they were to leave that brokerage as a virtual model, they're probably leaving to another virtual model. So over time, I think the traditional models are coming over much quicker. And then at the low cost structure, if they are entrepreneurial, then they have, from the cost savings, they can put more money into tools and systems and admin and help, and then optimize their business. And that works well, then they can bring on more people to work with them and train them. So it's just for many, many people, it's not for everyone, but for many entrepreneurial top producers, Side has crushed it in that aspect. Like most of the cities in the Bay Area are dominated by where the number one team is the number one brokerage is powered by Side. So like over time, growing teams has become easier and more cost efficient, where brokers are taking a step back because it's hard to get people to, if you're a top agent and all like and you're branding yourself, like you don't care, the company's marketing doesn't matter as much. So when I built my team, I try to think about how I can be more like a white label, be more service oriented for the agents to come in to do their business. So I think if more and more teams are operating like that, they will only continue to grow. And they're also adopting many agents from inside the brokerage that could use some extra support to join the team and maintain, stay at the brokerage.
Yeah. All right, rapid fire, last 3 questions. What's the best metric for scaling?
For real estate sales?
No, I think for growing your team.
I mean, Conversations had appointments booked. You take it back a step. Appointments booked. For us, we're really consistent, but we really measure how much output we're putting on social media. That's our bread and butter for recruiting. So that's one of our priorities all time between me, Elias, and our head of media guy.
Got it. What's the most overhyped tech trend?
I don't have an answer for that. I don't know. I just don't use crap. So I don't know what's up. I live in my own bubble. I don't know what's out there that sucks.
Got it. All right. So then the last one, and you don't need to name a name, but like maybe it's a category or something. What's one tool you'd remove from the industry?
What's one tool I removed from the industry? That's also a hard one. Maybe one element. I would love to remove crappy websites, generic websites from most CRMs. But then there's no substitute for that. So then what?
And then you go get a custom site. Your website's beautiful.
Yeah, you should get a custom site. Agent Image is amazing. I have a site from them. But yeah, like that's a pet peeve of mine. Not thinking about it, just generic. I met some like top agents like this. You didn't even put a bio on this website. It looks like crap. But at least you have one.
At least you do. You do. All right. Well, Kenny, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, my pleasure.